So in this video, I want to cover how to rig, what to use, and basically when to fish for shad. Some of the video clips in here I'll go over and explain the actual casting and what we're doing while we're fishing for shad and what to expect when you fish for shad. So come along, follow along on this video, see if it's helpful, and hopefully you'll like and subscribe it. Okay, so before I show you these video clips of us fishing for shad, let me go ahead and cover basically how we set up and what we're using to fish for shad. So shad aren't feeding, so they're coming up the river to spawn. So we're not using any bait. We're actually just using a lure to get out in front of them to where it aggravates them enough to where either it hits them in the face or gets in a strike zone to where they aggressively attack it. And that's what makes these fish a fun fish to go ahead and fish for, because they are aggressive, they are attacking the lures, and they put up a great fight. So what we use is like common colored jig heads, or what we use up here a lot is shad darts. So jig heads, shad darts, any type of lure that you can get out there in the current, out in front of them, to where it aggravates them enough to where they attack it. Some say it's color, but I think it's just getting the lure out there in that fast moving current when the fish are swimming up in their schools, that where you actually get that great bite. And you can actually see people catching fish along the river as the school comes up, because you'll see people catching them as the fish come up the stream. So from what I like to do is basically I use a 9-foot Lima glass X11 salmon steelhead rod, because this gives me more rod tip action and length for casting, but also feeling that fish, and it also gives you a better play and fight while you're reeling in that fish. And then I like to use my Shimano Symmetry 4000 Fi. I'll list them in the comments below on everything that I'm talking about as far as equipment. So I'm basically using and rigging about 10 to 15 pound tests. You probably don't want to go lighter than 10 pound tests, because they tend to be an aggressive fish, so they can break your line. Plus you're dealing with a lot of rocks and lines in the water, where your line can get frayed easier when it's a lighter line. So from my leader line, which I'll make roughly about the length of the pole. So I want the leader line long, because that way when you're casting out in that moving current, there's more play, you have more action, and you have more time that your lure is moving in that fast moving current to where you can get that strike. So from there, I'll use the same pound test on my leader line as my regular line, but I'll go ahead and just attach one of these barrel swivels, and then above that barrel swivel, everyone uses different types of weights. My preference is using hollow core weights. These are weights that will come in a coil that you cut up to different lengths, so you can actually gauge based on whether it's a windy day or if it's a slow current moving, to how heavy you want your weight to be when you're fishing for shad. I like these because they tend to move with the current better, and they tend not to drop in the rocks, and they're more hit on top of the rocks to where they don't snag as much. So from the top of this, I like to put a bead, any color bead, but as long as it's bigger than the top of your top eye on your fishing rod, because as your lure moves through and past that fast moving current, once that current starts to slow down, you want to reel in fast to make sure your lure and your weights don't drag on the bottom and get snagged. and then you have to replace your gear. So this is, when we are doing this, it tends to have this set up. If you don't have a bead on the top, you can easily pass through the top of the eye of your fishing rod, but also it could damage your top eye. So that's why I'll use a big bead on the top. Hopefully these tips have been helpful. Hopefully that I'll maybe get to see you out there one day while me and people are up there fishing and I'm filming on my channel. Hope to maybe take some people out on some of my adventures. Comment below on what you think about this video, but mostly like my video and subscribe if you found this helpful, and click that notification button. That way you'll know when I start to post more videos. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to this. I'll do a lot of more fishing, but I'll add some catch and cooks like others. But I'll also show you some other things that you can cook along with these dishes. because I enjoy fishing, but I also enjoy eating. So I look forward to having you watch and follow me along on my video adventures wherever they take me. Have a good time, and hopefully I'll see you out there fishing.